No, but elections are won on the margins by a coalition of little things that hit people personally. Trump gets this. He feels your pain in the... Kamala ran on democracy, which is the most important issue. But without the political skill to sell it, it added up to nothing. Meanwhile, Trump was running on, I'll make the poop go down. He never shut up about bad shower pressure, light bulbs, and low-flow toilets. It reminded me of when Chuck Schumer said in 2016 that for every blue-collar Democrat we lose in Western Pennsylvania, we're going to pick up 2 moderate Republicans in the suburbs of Philly, Ohio, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Yeah, how'd that work out?
Ma is sounding the alarm that his beloved Democratic Party is slipping into irrelevance, and he's warning them hard. According to Maher, the DNC is a hollow shadow of its former self, and if they don't steer back on track, they risk becoming a ghost brand. His critique was sharp, biting, and hilarious. So, hit the subscribe button and let's get started.
Is at risk of becoming a ghost brand, too. Like Sears, it used to be mighty and ascendant and popular. Sears once accounted for 1% of the entire American economy and 41% of the appliance market, and built the country's tallest tower. Democrats once controlled Congress and the Supreme Court, or at least competitive. But now, even at a time when President Trump is turning 250 years of democracy into jeans shorts.
Bill Maher has been watching the Democratic Party with a critical eye, and what he sees worries him. There was a time when the party was a powerhouse, popular with the working class, championing major causes, and drawing massive crowds wherever it went. It felt vibrant, energized, and unstoppable. But today, according to Ma, that same party is barely a shadow of its former self. Once a unifying force, it now struggles to connect with the very voters who once carried it to victory. Its messaging feels muddled, its priorities scattered, and its relevance increasingly questioned. Ma warns that if the Democrats don't course correct soon by reconnecting with everyday Americans and embracing practical solutions, they risk becoming a ghost of their former glory. A party remembered more for nostalgia than for impact. His observations are sharp, unapologetic, and as always, sprinkled with his trademark humor.
The Democrats have their lowest rating in 35 years, 63% unfavorable. What happened? I don't know. What happened to Sears? It used to be synonymous with the American dream because it kept faith with what the customer wanted. Did we love Sears? No, but that was besides the point. You just went. It was like an Avatar movie that sold.
According to Bill Maher, the Democratic Party has long strayed from its original purpose, and the consequences are becoming impossible to ignore. Once the go-to party for the working class, the Democrats have now lost their grip on the very voters who built their power. Ma argues that they've stopped catering to the working class, focusing instead on agendas that feel distant and disconnected from everyday Americans. Their message no longer resonates. What once inspired hope and loyalty now leaves people indifferent or outright frustrated. As a result, voters are rejecting them in droves, turning to alternatives that speak more directly to their concerns and struggles. Ma warns that if the Democrats continue down this path, they risk not just losing elections, but fading into political irrelevance. His critique is sharp, unflinching, and laced with humor, calling on the party to wake up before it's too late.
It used to be where your family bought everything, from school clothes to appliances to your family Christmas portrait. Now, Sears is a great place to go if you want to be alone. But you better hurry. Sears used to have 3,500 stores, and now it has 5. Same thing happened to Playboy, except in silk pajamas and a captain's hat. For 66 years, Playboy magazine was also a fact of American life. Sears sold your father a mattress, and Playboy was what he hid under it.
The reason Bill Maher keeps comparing the Democratic National Committee to Sears and Playboy is simple. He sees a warning story in their rise and fall. Both Sears and Playboy were once American giants, dominating their industries and shaping culture in ways few others could. But when they failed to adapt to changing times and evolving customer demands, their relevance crumbled, and today they exist mostly as shadows of their former selves. Ma fears the same fate could befall the Democratic Party if it doesn't act quickly and decisively. Once a powerhouse with broad appeal, the DNC risks stagnation if it continues ignoring the needs of everyday Americans and clings to strategies that no longer resonate. Maher's analogy isn't just clever. It's a wake-up call, sharp, insightful, and laced with his trademark humor, urging the party to evolve before it becomes another cautionary tale of decline.
The basic problem we have in America is conservatives think the liberals are insane, and they're not completely wrong. Now, I don't think most liberals are insane, but neither do they make it clear they disapprove of the ones who are, and their cowardice in not marginalizing their own crazies has been their downfall. I couldn't get Neil deGrasse Tyson, a genius scientist and preeminent scientific voice in the media, to agree that it was ridiculous for Scientific American and The Atlantic to be claiming that separating sports by doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. And this is exactly what frustrates Maher the most. The left's stubborn refusal to accept basic scientific facts and objective reality. In his view, many on the left are so deeply immersed in their woke ideology that no amount of evidence, logic, or reasoning seems to reach them. Facts become secondary to feelings, and truth is often filtered through a lens of personal belief rather than objective understanding. Maher sees this as dangerous and absurd. Policies, debates, and decisions are being shaped not by data or real-world outcomes, but by what feels right to a vocal segment of activists. It's not about improving society or solving problems. It's about adhering to a worldview that validates their identity and ideology. For Maher, this reliance on emotion over evidence is not just frustrating. It's a recipe for failure. When decisions ignore facts, the consequences are real, measurable, and often disastrous.
People ask me all the time, why haven't you ever had Hillary or Bill Clinton on? Why didn't you have Kamala on during the last campaign? You think we don't ask? We ask these people every week. They say no. It took 8 years and a petition to get Obama on. And these are people, all people I voted for. Think about that. They're afraid to come on the show of a guy who voted for them.
Here, Ma takes aim at the Democratic establishment itself, dissecting their reluctance to appear anywhere they can't control. From Hillary Clinton to Kamala Harris, he challenges the pattern of top Democrats declining invitations to open, unscripted conversation. Ma argues that their refusal to come on his show isn't about scheduling. It's about fear of genuine dialogue. He points out that these are leaders he actually voted for. Yet, they avoid even friendly territory if it means facing real questions. More alarmingly, Ma warns that this defensive posture signals a party that no longer trusts its own message or its ability to connect with voters directly. When leaders hide behind handlers instead of engaging honestly, the consequences aren't abstract. They erode credibility and public confidence. Maher's critique isn't about loyalty. It's about a party drifting away from transparency and basic political instincts.
I've been telling Democrats for years the Republicans are going to steal pot from you as an issue, and now Trump says,
we're looking at reclassification and we'll make a determination.
What'd you expect? He is the master at winning votes from small groups who are passionate about one issue, picking up a couple percent here, a couple there, until on election night it's YMC.
Unlike the Democrats, Donald Trump focused on the issues that truly matter to the average American. He zeroed in on the challenges people face in their daily lives, jobs, economic security, immigration, and national pride, and spoke about them with a passion that resonated deeply. Trump didn't get lost in abstract debates or cultural trends. He connected directly with the concerns of ordinary citizens, promising to make the country work better for them. And that clarity and focus is exactly what people want from their leaders. Someone who listens, understands, and takes action to improve their lives. While many politicians chase trends or ideological agendas, Trump's approach was grounded in practical results and real-world impact. Ma and others note that this kind of connection is what earns loyalty, trust, and support. By addressing the core needs of Americans, he showed that political relevance comes from prioritizing the people over politics.